All right, let me take my glasses off here because there's a bit of a glare. Hey, everyone. Welcome to A Round for the Weekend. I'm your humble host, Ryan McCarthy. Just want to remind you that we are powered by bellyupsports.com. Check out more articles, more podcasts, all that fun stuff. bellyupsports.com. As advertised about 20 minutes ago, I'm going to bring in a return guest. He was on, if you remember him, he was on my NFL preview show way back in September. But I decided, all right, we're going to bring him back on. We're going to do some football freaking Friday tonight. So I'm going to bring him in. Our buddy, we got Sern. Matt Serniak, also known as Sern. Sern, how are we doing tonight, bud?
No complaints. I just had some of the 3 best slices of pizza at my favorite new watering hole with it, which is in walking distance of the house I recently bought in August, and doing really well with that. And it's good that you said, reoccurring guests, because, Ryan, I assure you, people are remembering our time that we had before the NFL season started. They're like, oh man, I know what those guys' predictions were, and I want to know how they're doing now.
Well, as a New York Jets fan, you know how I'm doing. It's a existential crisis every single week.
It's some kind of crisis, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, we're basically brothers from another mother. I mean, we both got the hairstyle. We both got the beard going.
Again,
I don't have glasses. We just
you just took your glasses off, and I kind of think the reason why you did it was like, oh man, we look too similar. I gotta drop these glasses because here's the deal: when you have those glasses on, it's like, and you have better equipment than I do, so it's like I'm like some kind of pasty ghost, or I'm like a bad feed from the future of yourself. So either way, I'm down for it.
Hey, either way, we're two sexy beasts. That's I gotta say that.
Yeah. No qualms here on what you just said. Yeah.
All right, we got a comment. Our buddy Houston Wenzel from way back in the day said, "Hey fellas, great show. Thanks,
thanks, Houston Wenzel, 93. Thank you.
Right. Well, thanks for watching, Houston. We appreciate it. Now we're gonna go into the most important part of the show. What are you drinking?
What I'm drinking is just, I'll put it in the camera here. Hope you can see this. This is just a splendid, old-fashioned, but new-fashioned Sierra Nevada. It's called Dankful IPA. I call it old-fashioned because Sierra Nevada is one of the pioneers of the craft brew scene.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sticking to their roots, which is a classic IPA where, you go to a beer store and there are dozens upon dozens of new age brew, and that's fine. But these guys out here in Nevada, they stick to their roots. They do what they know because they know that people enjoy what they do. Just a classic, regular old IPA. No bells, no whistles, no, Ansel Adams on their can. Just a regular old great beer here, and we're gonna pour it into our beautiful. Let's match it up here. Miami Dolphin Slim Jim. You gotta get the
Slim Jim.
Slim Jim double pint glass here. And you're looking at this glass, and it's like, oh my goodness, you're gonna put one beer in that? Oh, what a waste of space, right?
But wait.
Nope. But wait. Honestly, this is how ahead of the curve we are here.
Oh yeah.
You hear that? You hear that? Oh my goodness. We're talking 2 of them in one glass.
Two beers.
Two beers. All right. What do you got there? Ryan, what do you got?
So while you're pouring, I'm going to introduce you to. I haven't had this beer yet. I'm trying new beers in the program. So as I try to do every week or every other week, I guess. I'm drinking. My brother went to Rochester a few weeks ago for his daughter's gymnastics meet, and he went to his favorite brewery out there. It's called Rohrbach Brewing Company. I'm trying their Scotch Ale tonight. So I figured I'd try that. It's part of the classic series. And as usual, I am joined by my mason jar, And I have a new character on. So I just wanted to know that this show is slowly turning into Pee Wee's Playhouse. So now I've got Mason Jar, I've got Bordy Howe in the background here, with I try to do like some Letterkenny quotes or some words from the program. I don't know if you're familiar with the program or not, Letterkenny.
No, I'm aware. I'm aware a little bit.
All right, do yourself a favor and watch some of it. But let me go ahead and pour some of the Scotch ale. There we
Scotch
go.
ale, and that's a style you don't see very often.
No, he got me a bunch of it beer. Ooh, look at that. That's nice and there's a dark amber. I dig it. So I don't mean to take away from another show here, but it's got a 6.8 ABV and its averages of 3.3 caps on Untapped. It's a Scotch ale / wee heavy. So, Sern, thanks for joining me in the program tonight, bud. Here's to the weekend.
Cheers,
bud.
The weekend.
Yes, sir. Ooh, that is definitely a wee heavy.
Cheers.
All right. So we've got some comments already going, and Kevin Wilson says Scotch ale sounds awesome. It actually is very delightful. I will say that, Kev. So thanks for watching. So we're gonna dig in, and we got some questions. Actually, we got some questions that we're gonna save for a little bit later. But first of all, what we're gonna do is talk about the Deshaun Watson Derby.
Derby or Derby?
I call it a derby. That's how the British pronounce it when they do their thing. I call it a derby.
Right? Is really?
Yeah, derby.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird sounding. I know. So if you don't know the story already, Deshaun Watson has basically tried to pull a James Harden and said, I want to get out of Houston. Nobody wants to be in Houston right now. And both of our teams, I'm a New York Jets fan. Sern, as you can see in the background, he's got a couple
they see the Jason Taylor and Wes Welker. You know, they're aware. I mean, trust me, they know.
Yeah, we know. So what we're going to talk about is that basically the derby is coming down to 2 or 3 teams, and both of our teams are represented. And so we're going to dig into why our team is the better team for Deshaun Watson at this point. So, Sern, since you're my guest, and I'm being a hospitable person tonight, I'm going to let you lead off and give the people a reason why the Miami Dolphins are a better suitor for Deshaun Watson
compared to the New York Jets, right?
Compared to anyone who's in the hunt, whether it be Chicago, the Jets, any team that needs a quarterback right now.
Well, the Dolphins have pretty much the best draft capital to trade to Houston. Mm-hmm. They have a quarterback that they drafted in the first round from last year. If you're into that kind of thing, they have a defense that ranked in the top half last year. They have a coach who's the real deal in Brian Flores. They have a GM who's an adult in the room and has figured out how to handle the draft and draft picks. They have an owner that couldn't care less about how much money he really signs anybody at this moment. Other moments he did. At this moment he doesn't. You are in Florida where there's no state tax. You're in Miami where, let's face it, Miami's pretty damn awesome. I don't know if I really have to go any farther than that. You have a team that won 10 games last year. In the year before that, they won 5, and that was a year they were trying to lose. And they won 10 games this year, and, out of an absolute, matrix anomaly, they didn't make the playoffs at 10-6, even though there were 7 playoff teams now in the AFC. So, yeah, they are the best equipped team to do serious winning at this moment. If you're trying to lure Deshaun Watson or any free agent for that matter.
Okay. All fair points. I can see where you're going. Now let me give you a glimpse as to why I think the Jets are the best option. I don't want to give up on Sam Darnold as pretty much. I mean, as I probably say about half the fan base right now is in the same boat as I am. I don't really want to give up on Sam Darnold. I
agree with you.
I think he has a ton of potential. I think he's been just basically been screwed by the last 2 years by a coach who claims he's an offensive genius, but is not. As you
I assure you, he is not an offensive genius or a genius in any medium. He's not that.
Okay. So as much as I want to say keep Sam Darnold, I think it's time for him to go. Now, this is what the Jets can offer him. This is what the Jets can offer Deshaun Watson. You have a brand new coach in Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh is apparently a player's coach, but he knows how to motivate guys. Yes, it's on the defensive side of the ball, but he's bringing in guys who can take the load off a quarterback. He's using basically the same system they're going to use. They're basically using right now in San Francisco with run first, have some short passes and guys who can go with the ball as soon as it's caught. Yards after catch. They're gonna have some guys who can Deshaun Watson who they can rely on at receiver. They'll have a better running game. I have a feeling that if the Jets give up the number 2 pick, they're still going to draft a running back at 23. And that running back could be Travis Etienne to help take the load off him because they won't have Frank Gore anymore. Frank Gore is pretty much going to be going somewhere or retiring after.
So to confirm, the Jets have the 23rd overall pick as well?
Yes.
And you think you'll still have that if you were to trade that to Houston?
Well, I think they will because they'll offer – I think what they'll do is they'll offer a package with Sam Darnold and the number 2 pick as well as next year's number 1 pick for Deshaun Watson, maybe like a 3rd rounder or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think what the Jets have going for them is that the fact it's New York City. Now, I know right now you might say, oh, it's New York City. They haven't won anything in a while. Yeah, true. New York is a bit of a dumpster fire right now in terms of some of their teams. The Knicks are kind of on the up and up a little bit in the NBA from what I've seen.
They're 500. Don't you know?
That's what I mean by the up and up. I'm not putting my expectations too high for the Knicks because they're 500 right now. But if you win in New York, you are the king of that city. No matter how long you're there, you win one title, you win one championship, and you're set for life. You will never have to buy a drink again in New York City. and I know the jokes. They play New Jersey. I get it. It's the geological snobbery. I get it. But still, it's a New York metro market. And if you win, you're king. You're the king. If you win 2 championships, you're in a class on your own. So I think the Jets having to offer him a bigger market. I mean, Houston's a big market. Don't get me wrong. So is Miami. But New York is the number 1 media market in the entire country. And I think just the appeal of being able to play in New York and have the opportunity to win in New York. Now, he won't win right away. I think the Jets are still kind of rebuilding, and they have a lot of holes to fill. That'll be done in free agency and in the draft. But I think the Jets have a lot in terms of, all right, number 2 pick in the draft. Okay, you can offer packages to Sam Darnold. They'll pick themselves up elite receiver. The Texans will pick up themselves up an elite receiver, or they'll pick themselves up another lineman to bookend with Laramie Tunsil. So I think that's what the Texans GM right now is trying to do because Bill O'Brien screwed the Texans with all the draft picks he gave up in order to get all the guys he was getting. So I think the Jets have more appeal of an appeal, not based on and just having to work with a coach like Robert Saleh, who is he's a Energizer Bunny.
Right, we're gonna cut in right there. So right. Robert Saleh, nothing against him. Seems like a really good coach. Seems like the players really respond to him. You want to know who does a better job of that and who I know has already done it? Brian Flores in Miami. He's a poor man's Brian Flores at this point because that's the kind of like the new wave of coaches right now. And you can look at Detroit is like, hey, we want the cool ass motivator guy who gets in the players' faces. That's really cool when it works. That's not cool when it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, like, instantly, the players pretty much think that guy is a clown. It's like, yep, this guy's trying to motivate us like a high school coach here, and we think it's funny, and we don't care what this guy says. Flores kind of did the same thing, but it worked because they started winning games when they shouldn't have. Not saying Salah and Dan Campbell, former Dolphins coach in Detroit, that's not going to happen. But if you don't win early with that kind of like mantra, you're in for it, like a rough deal, because you look like a joke. You look like a guy who just likes to yell around and get the guys pumped, but you don't look like a guy who knows the X's and O's. Flores in Miami, he has like the best of both worlds, where he was the get in your face, motivate guy, but also he knew how to handle people behind the scenes, kind of like they just got rid of Kyle Van Noy. He knows how to just be cutthroat and just get rid of a guy after 1 year. I don't know if those guys, because those guys haven't had the opportunity yet, do Salah and Campbell, do they have it in them just to get rid of a dude, even though they like him after 1 year? Is their message going to be, receptive after they go 4-12 after their first year? So you want to compare Miami to the Jets, just specifically Dolphins, Jets. Dolphins already are pretty decent. Not saying they're great or good. They are above average. They won 10 games last year. Winning 10 games in the NFL is hard, and they did it last year with not that great of a roster. So that's something. That is a lot. That's coaching guys up who aren't that good or great and making them win NFL football games. I don't know if the Jets are capable of that with Robert Saleh yet.
Well, consider that the difference between Saleh and Gase is going to be night and day.
Well, I mean, that's not hard to do, though. The bar was so low that, anybody could just trip over that bar and you're ahead. Okay.
But one of the things that the Jets have for them, and I'm pretty sure, how much cap space does Miami have right now?
After cutting / attempting the trade, which won't happen, Kyle Van Noy, they're around 35 mil. So they're around 6th to 8th in the league of cap space, and that's coming off a 10-6 year.
Okay. The Jets have, well, as of right now, after releasing Henry Anderson, thank you, Jesus, $82 million.
Yeah, they have great cap space. That's great. That's
so what they can do is that they can build in free agency. They can get an elite lineman. They can get themselves a capable wide receiver. Other than having I think Brett Perriman's at the door, but you need someone to complement.
I like Brett Perriman.
I do too. I just wish he wasn't. I wish he wasn't hurt so often.
Yeah, I know. I like him.
Yeah, but you have a young receiver in Denzel Mims. Hopefully they'll keep Jamison Crowder around. He was basically the slot receiver. He was basically
he's probably a casualty at this point.
I'm hoping he isn't. I mean, he's $10 million in cap space, but I mean, they're just going to have a lot to build around with a guy like Deshaun Watson. You're going to have help at the line. You're going to have help on the line. You're going to have another wide receiver to throw to. I'm hoping they get themselves Allen Robinson. I would love to see Allen Robinson on one side and Denzel Mims on the other.
Yeah.
That would be something to build around.
You can have him. And I'm a Penn State grad. I like Allen Robinson, but for the price that he's going to command, the Dolphins don't need that type of receiver for that price.
But he's still, I mean, I don't know if you realize this. He's only 27, 28 years old. He's still a young dude. He's been in the
league like 10 years. He hasn't.
Yeah, it feels like he's been in the league for 10 years.
I know. Because you know why? You think he's Alshon Jeffrey, and he's not Alshon Jeffrey. He's not. You think he is the same guy? He's not. He's 27 years old. He's got a lot of ball left in him. It's, for Miami, receiver-wise, free agent receiver, he's not the guy that I hope the Dolphins are targeting.
No, I granted, and the Dolphins have a lot more receiving talent than the Jets, but
not
again, well, compared to the Jets, yeah, they do. I mean, but,
not by much.
Not by much. But I don't know. I mean, I want to hear anybody who's watching out there. I want to hear what you guys think. I mean, Kevin Wilson, he said that Miami wins the argument. I don't know. Well, why? How they win the argument? I mean,
Well, I would like for Mr. Wilson to explain.
I would like them to
I want
elaborate.
Mr. Wilson to get behind the fence that he's covering his mouth with in Home Improvement, and give some real answers here. By the way, you mentioned it before I did. I'm fine. I'm really good with Tua being the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins next year.
Yes, we still have our Dolphin King T-shirt on sale at on bellyupsports.com.
The genius who designed that, he deserves a Pulitzer.
Yeah, I wonder who that was.
Some genius who doesn't look for a lot of credit. He just wants an attaboy or a head nod once in a while.
I gotcha.
That's it.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm still pro Tua. I'm actually pro whatever the Dolphins do at quarterback, because no matter what they do, it's a good idea. Either you trade all the picks for Watson, and then theoretically it's harder to put good players around him, or you stick with Tua and see what he develops into, and you have all the picks around him. So personally, I'm okay with both. At this point right now, I'm putting it at a 51.5% chance that Deshaun Watson is the opening day starter for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Right now, I think Miami is the number one team that has the best chance of getting him. And that I know, based off what I read, he wants to go to Miami. Like, that seems pretty solid, that theory.
Okay. Understood. I mean, I'm still on my position that the Jets could be the team that picks him up based off of what they can do in the draft and in free agency. But wait, we got a response from Kevin.
Of course, Kevin.
Pro Tua is fine, but he's not Deshaun Watson. Okay.
Yeah, nobody ever said that Tua was Deshaun Watson. Only a dumbass would ever say that.
But I just think the Jets have something to offer. They can send a quarterback who has been a pro for a couple of years to a team that is in a bit of a transition right now. I think the Texans have a better line right now than the Jets for sure. Or they could be another new system that Sam would have to learn, but
whatever. They learn stuff every year.
Well, either way, the Jets are either going to be getting a guy like Deshaun Watson as their quarterback, or they're going to be drafting a quarterback in the draft, I think. Or they'll trade down from the number 2 and get some more draft capital. We'll see. But I'm curious to see what this Derby is going to look like in the next what? How many days to the draft there, Sern?
Days? I want to say like 55-ish.
Okay. Because it's for April.
I think the Watson stuff for at least the Dolphins and probably the Jets, for those two teams, it's going to be settled by the draft, because the Dolphins, they're not going to trade for Deshaun Watson after the draft. So basically it's before the draft and draft night, and that's it. If a deal can't be struck before the draft, then Tua's the quarterback for the Dolphins for the next year or two.
Fair. I mean, I'm curious. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a Jamal Adams situation like last season, because I remember what happened with Jamal Adams. He wanted to trade. He wanted to get out. He wanted to go away from the Jets. I understand. He gets traded right before camp begins. You're going to see kind of a situation like that, or is it going to pull a trigger during free agency? Because free agency starts next week or two.
Right. No, it starts next week. You're going to need a team that has multiple first-round picks to be able to pull off that type of trade. From what you're speaking of, Jamal Adams, you're going to need a team that has multiple firsts. I couldn't tell you offhand, after the draft, how many teams have multiple firsts in their pocket. I don't know.
I know two. The Jaguars and the Jets.
Well, I can tell you the Jaguars are probably not going to be trading for Deshaun Watson after the draft. Kind of bet my life on it that they're not going to be doing that.
Now, here's a curveball I want to throw at you, Sern. Who do the Jaguars draft first? With Urban Meyer as coach. Do they draft Trevor Lawrence?
No, that's easy.
Okay.
We don't have to put a first take slant on this, okay? It's Trevor Lawrence, and that's the end of it. It's the only reason why Urban Meyer came out of the booth and is in the coaching room here, in the film room, just waiting to die, just waiting to fake a heart attack here. He's it's Trevor Lawrence, and that's why he's doing this. He didn't go to Jacksonville for the fun of it. He went to Jacksonville because I'm getting Trevor Lawrence, and that guy's awesome, and I think I can win early with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured you would throw Justin Fields in there because he's an Ohio State guy. He's the one who recruited him.
He recruited him. He knows who he is. He knows how he can play. He knows Lawrence is better because, in fact, Lawrence at the moment is better. Not saying Fields can't end up being better. Urban knows that Lawrence is better than Fields. You know.
Okay. All right. So on that note, actually, we're going to go into our next segment, which is the quarterback news / free agency, and we actually have a comment. We have a couple questions for us now. Houston, we gave him a shout out earlier to say hello. He asked, if you fellas get some time, can my Bears get Russ Wilson?
Well, yeah. If they trade a bunch of stuff that the Seahawks want and they're willing to part ways with Russell Wilson, well, yeah, you can absolutely get him. I think Russell Wilson, bold take here, I think he gets traded this year. I really do. I'm at the point now where I have no good reason to think that when a star player who's a quarterback in the NFL doesn't say they want to be traded, they don't get traded. So I just think like it's going to happen. I don't know exactly where they're going to go. The Bears are certainly a team in the running for Russ Wilson. But yeah, I think Russell Wilson is not a Seahawk come next year because like once a guy puts it out there that he wants to go, even though I know Russ said, I don't want to be traded, but on the off chance that I do, here's my team.
I also want to be traded.
Right. Yeah. So once a guy puts that out there, it's out there and it's out there forever. And yeah, that's all it takes. I think to get a guy moved, and I don't know where he's going to go. I think the Bears are a healthy choice to where Russ Wilson plays next year. So I'm going to say Russell Wilson is playing on a different football team next year. I just have no idea at the moment where he's going to play. Bears are probably leader in the clubhouse, though.
Okay. After they lost out on the Carson Wentz sweepstakes.
Yeah, they did themselves a favor there, I think.
I mean, Indianapolis had a lot of capital to be able to get Wentz, and plus, I think, and this is my point of view, he's going to flourish again with Frank Reich as his head coach. He's going to have Frank Reich as his head coach. He's going to have a better offensive line to work with. I don't know about receivers, but I know they have a ton of cap space. They can go out and get themselves an elite receiver, maybe two.
Yeah.
And they've got pretty decent defense from what I can tell.
They have all the pieces in place for any quarterback to succeed. Like you said, defense, offensive line, running game. The receivers at that point, it won't even matter. They have Michael Pittman as a second-year receiver. They'll draft a guy. They'll probably bring in a free agent. It won't even matter. The tight ends are pretty solid. It won't matter when your offensive line is that good and your defense is giving you that many possessions a game. Carson Wentz is very talented.
And don't forget, he's going to have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield.
Oh, yeah, he'll have the backfield, Jonathan Taylor and the other two guys, Hines and I forget the other dude.
Marlon Mack.
It doesn't even matter. Jonathan Taylor is there. They'll add. If Hines and the other guy are gone, Williams, I believe his name is Jonathan Williams, they'll replace him with whatever.
Right.
Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz fails with the Colts, then he literally doesn't know how to throw a football. Which I've seen him throw a football. He's pretty good at it when he has time, but every quarterback is good when they have time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're only as good as your offensive line. I used to play offensive line, so I know.
I coached the offensive line in freshman football, so I know. Big deal.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so we got another question out here. It's from our friends from the Cannon and Tomahawks podcast. Alex and Zach, check them out on a week to week basis. They talk Columbus Blue Jackets and Chicago Blackhawks hockey. They ask, "What's up, fellas? Alex Smith getting released from the Washington football team. Think he's going to hang him up?" Good question.
He might. I mean, if nobody signs him, then yeah, he's going to hang him up. But he wants to play, so my guess would be some team, potentially the Dolphins, will sign him as a backup, and that's just how that goes.
So you kind of see him as a mentor, because I know with the Jets they had Sam Darnold, in his rookie, when he was a rookie, he had Josh McCown as basically his quarterback coach / backup. Do you see him kind of filling that role if Alex Smith goes somewhere?
As if Alex Smith is a backup?
As a backup, yeah. Acts as a mentor or
he's 100% a bridge quarterback, a mentor, whatever you want, whatever adjective you want to call it to make it sound nice. Yeah, he's a number 2. He's a backup.
I think the fact that he came back from football to play football, period, is an inspirational story. And the NFL writers just made a good choice of picking him as a comeback player of the year, because if he didn't get that award, I would have ridden.
Well, it wasn't hard to do. I mean, the guy nearly died.
Yeah.
And the guy definitely probably should have been playing professional sports, let alone professional football. He did. And he went 5-1, I believe, as a starter. So, guy balled out as much as he can at this point in his career. But yeah, he's a backup or a mentor or a bridge quarterback, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some other quarterbacks and plus free agency. We had a pretty big signing this past week with J.J. Watt going to the Arizona Cardinals. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to get my head around that. But Alex Smith, we kind of talked about. Russell Wilson, we talked about just a little bit. Let's talk about Ben Roethlisberger. That he pretty much said that he's going to come back to the Steelers. Their Steelers management said, yeah, he's coming back next year. If you're a Steelers fan right now, are you excited? Or are you just like, eh?
You're kind of just like, all right. Yeah. Whatever sound you just made is equivalent to the all right I just gave. It's like, all right, sure, okay. We'll probably be hovering around 8 to 10 wins, because that's what the Steelers are going to be, because their defense is still good. They still have pretty good skills player on the outside on offense. Their running game stinks, but I think they'll improve that. Their O-line is average. So, yeah, Ben being average hovers around 8 to 10 victories. That which is borderline a playoff spot. That's what it's going to be in that division with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, and I think the Browns are going to be pretty steady. They're going to have probably a repeat performance of last year. Yeah, you're going to be hovering around 8 to 10 wins. A couple of games are going to go one way or the other, really close to the wire.
And plus, the Browns have Baker Mayfield too.
Yeah.
Although their running game is unbelievably good.
No, it's really good. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question. At this point right now, is Ben Roethlisberger the worst quarterback in the AFC North?
Lamar, Baker,
Joe Burrow coming back next year. He's going to come back.
I mean, if you're looking for like long-term plan, the obvious answer is yeah. What I take, basically the question is Roethlisberger better than Burrow or Baker? Burrow, we watched like 6-7 games, and then one of the football team guys, foot players rolled
and
up.
His leg got turned inside out by one of the Washington football.
Yeah, his leg got turned into linguine. And then, is he better than Baker Mayfield? I think Baker is a very solid quarterback. I think he's a quarterback by numbers. There's plenty of those guys in the league. And I think with Kevin Stefanski in that offense, I don't think Baker is going to be worse than he was this past year, because the offense is so, written out and like guaranteed. Every play is guaranteed to go to one guy. So it's not that hard to run that offense if you have a running game, which they do. So is Ben worse than Baker? I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. He can make better throws. He can be more of a drop back passer, which is what the league is. But at this moment, I would take Baker over Ben Roethlisberger now, because what has Ben, like 37-ish? And he can't move it all. He can't move it all. And his arm strength, it definitely looked like he has a weaker arm than what we've seen him in the past. So yeah, I'll take. Yeah, I will say he's fourth best in that division.
I just had this thought come to my head. The curious thing, and I'm just kind of thinking about this just off the top of my head. Baker Mayfield is going to have the career that Mark Sanchez should have had as a New York Jet, and I'll tell you why. The first couple of years, first 2 seasons, Baker Mayfield had okay seasons. but he didn't have a run game.
Who's this, Baker?
Baker Mayfield, yeah.
Well, his first year, he broke all the rookie records.
He did. He broke a bunch of the rookie records, but they still finished under 500.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Browns.
The Browns, of course. And then all of a sudden he gets a running game this year, and they almost wind up beating the Chiefs and going to the AFC Championship game. Now I'm just continue this comparison. For the first 2 seasons of Mark Sanchez's career, he was surrounded by the best running game in football and the best offensive line in football. And he has that now. Baker Mayfield has that offensive line as one of the best offensive lines in football, period. And I think he's going to have the career that Mark Sanchez should have had if the Jets didn't take the training wheels off too soon and make them depend on him to be most of their offense. If they kept with the running game, if they kept going with the running game and having a strong run game to support him, like Baker Mayfield has now in Cleveland, Sanchez he could still be playing for the Jets right now. But
well, yeah. Like I said, Baker Mayfield is a quarterback by numbers, and there's plenty of those guys in the league. There's Jared Goff.
Yep.
There's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I don't want to say Dak Prescott, but he's close, which is to say they're Kirk Cousins. There's others. These are play-action quarterbacks that they are built on deception. They are good when you can deceive the defense that you're running the ball, play action, and then you can throw over the top when the linebackers move in. They're good. They're really good in those spots. But when you ask those guys to be a drop back passer on 3rd and 7, 8, when the world knows you're throwing the ball, they are average at best. And that's what makes the best quarterbacks in the league, your Mahomes, your Rodgers, your Brady's, whatever your names you got, your Brees, whatever your names you want to throw out there, your best quarterbacks, those guys can stare down a defense when everybody knows they're throwing and complete the ball. Baker, at this point in his career, in my opinion, he's not that guy. He needs a running game on 2nd and 5 to get a 45-yard play because everybody thought you were running the ball and you have a wide open guy on a bootleg. That's what those guys are. Those plays are scripted. That's why I call them quarterback by numbers, that you can just dial it in, draw it up exactly how it's supposed to go, and that's exactly where the play is supposed to go. If anything happens where it doesn't work out like that, well, then that guy's screwed. I think Baker has a little bit more playmaker ability than the other guys I listed, but that's where at the moment where I think he's at.
Okay. Now, speaking of Drew Brees, you mentioned Drew Brees, and we're gonna have a little fun with this. Does he come back next year, or is he hanging him up?
Well, he's pushing around weights on the ground and pushing around on video. So, and it looks like he got some good hair plugs compared to last year. And so, I'm not sure if you're jealous. I'm very comfortable with who I am. But
I'm not jealous at all.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Drew was looking to that. He has like nice hair here. Maybe he could fix the birthmark on the face. I don't know, but it seems like he's looking to come back. But who knows? I mean, literally, you flip a coin. I have no idea if he's looking to come back or not. It seemed like everybody was reporting that this was his last year and that was the end of it. But then he throws out videos of him working out. So I don't know. I really have no idea. It's hard to say one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing the Saints are going to have to do is, if they want to keep him around, they're going to have to readjust his contract.
Oh, 100%.
They're worse than the cap space hell right now.
They're worse than the cap, right?
I think they're at the bottom in terms of net cap space.
Yeah, they're in
the negative. They're in the red.
Yeah, they're hardcore in the black. Wait, which one don't you want? The red or the black?
The red. You want the black.
You want black. You don't want red. Yeah, so they're in the red. Yeah, good point.
Red means negative.
Yeah, right.
And then they're I think from, I'll give a shout out to Corner Booth Podcast, Kevin Jared talked about this a couple weeks ago on their pregame show. I think it's Saints are dead last in cap space in the negative. Then it's the Falcons, the Eagles. I want to say the Bills. The Bills are like negative 200,000 in cap space right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Saints are in cap hell right now. They're gonna have to let a bunch. They're gonna have to have a lot of guys renegotiate the contract, restructure their contracts, or let a bunch of guys go through trade or cuts.
Yeah, probably. They already got rid of Jared Cook and Hill as tight ends, so they're on their way.
Yeah. And free agency starts in a couple weeks, a week or two. So
I think it's next week. To be honest with you, I think it's next week.
Let's see. NFL.
I'm wrong. I could be dead wrong on that, but I thought it was next week. That's the bar. That's the belly up difference right there.
Okay. I'm looking. I thought it was the 17th because that's when the new year starts for the NFL.
It certainly could be. I thought it was next week. Yeah.
Free agency starts on March 17th. That's when they can start officially start offering tender sheets and signing players.
Yeah.
That's when the new year starts for the NFL.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun watching free agency this year because the cap space, I think the cap space got lowered, if I'm not mistaken. It went down.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of teams that have a lot of cap space are going to and kind of had it projected when the cap space was going to go down. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it basically means that since the cap is expected to go down, I'm rather sure it is, due to COVID and the pandemic and all that, a lot of players that you wouldn't expect be cut are going to get cut. And I know Diana Rossini, I think she reported Bidwell of the owner of the Cardinals, and he basically said, next week's going to be a massacre. There's going to be guys getting, cut all over the place, guys you never would think. And
okay.
I'm just here for it. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I mean, not that I can't wait to see guys lose their job, but I'm really much looking forward to seeing a bunch of big name profile players in the NFL be just out there and cut.
Okay. So here, according to spottrack.com, here are the top 5 cap space teams right now. Number 1, Jacksonville, 85 mil. Number 2, the New York Jets with 82 mil. Patriots, 72.6. The Washington football team has 58.7 million. And then the Indianapolis Colts still have 50 million in cap space. Good Lord.
Yeah, because they don't have a quarterback.
What, the Colts?
Yeah.
Oh, they have Wentz.
Oh, well, oh, yeah.
The Washington football team doesn't really have a quarterback. I mean, they signed Taylor Heineke to a 3-year deal, but
they got him for quarterback nothing numbers there.
Yeah. Now, here's the surprise. Even though they signed J.J. Watt, the Arizona Cardinals still have 17 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Right. Now here are the bottom 5. New Orleans, they're negative 58 million in cap space right now. Negative 58 million. Yeah, they're gonna have to let go of a bunch of dudes. All right, so we have the Saints. I'm sorry, I should correct myself. The Rams have negative 29.6 million in cap space.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
No, the cap space be damned. Philly is next, then the Chiefs, then the Falcons.
Yeah. And
I think correct about the Bills. They actually have 4 million in net cap space right now. So I apologize for that miscommunication. But free agency starts in a couple weeks. In T-minus 12 days. I'm pretty pumped.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Dolphins fan, sky's the limit, because even though they had a very good year, they're in the midst of a ton of weird talk of Deshaun Watson. They still have a lot of room to add players. Unfortunately, like Justin Simmons of the Broncos, the safety that I was looking forward to seeing how he would fare on the market, he got tagged by the Broncos earlier this evening. So that's one guy the Dolphins are not going to be, at the moment anyway, aren't going to be adding to their squad.
Yeah, it was somebody who this week I couldn't remember. It was an ex-NFLer who said that players hate being tagged.
No,
They
yeah,
hate the franchise tag because they can't do anything.
nope.
They can't do anything. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit more fun. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with this next segment. Then we'll kind of wrap things up. We got a couple of comments in the comments section. Kevin Wilson responded, Russell Wilson's not going anywhere. He's going nowhere. We'll see. Parker Ainsworth said, the sign. Gordie Howe. Gotta love it. He also said lots of guys who worked with Peyton Manning can look like offensive geniuses. Of course they can. But anywho, in the meantime, we're going to have some fun. And we're going to do a segment called The Most Fun NFL Rumors We'd Like to See. Sern, this was your idea. We were talking in Slack chat this afternoon. I'll have you lead off. So what's the most fun NFL rumor you would like to see?
I would love to see a world where Dak Prescott goes to the 49ers. I don't know how that would happen.
Why that?
Why?
Why is that? Yeah.
Oh, because it would flip the NFL world and the sports world pretty much upside down. But I'm not sure. I mean, when I posed this idea for this segment, I'm like, oh man, crazy ideas that I would love to see. A rumor I see on Twitter like tomorrow morning, and I want to see Rappaport, Schefter, and all the other folks that report rumors being like, hey man, Niners, they're looking to try to potentially add Dak Prescott, even though it looks like he's going to get tagged. I think that would be like really cool to see, and just like super interesting.
Okay. Going on those lines, the one rumor I'd like to see, Dak Prescott to the Raiders.
So Derek Carr is gone. Where does Derek Carr go? Just anywhere?
Derek Carr gets jettisoned to a private island off of the coast of Alaska, I guess, if it was up to John Cruden.
So Derek Carr goes to Russia. All right. He goes over to Bering Strait. No big deal. He's not Russian now. All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Prescott to 49ers makes sense because he's going to be surrounded by a strong run game. No, and I would say the same thing with the Raiders. They have a pretty decent run game.
No, they do. And that's the whole point of this segment, is that rumors that are fun, but not necessarily anywhere near plausible. Right? I want to see a rumor that like Tua Tagovailoa goes into Stephen Ross's office in Miami and breaks his arm and says, hey, I'm your quarterback. That I would like to see that as a rumor, is like, oh, rumors are saying that Tua broke Stephen Ross's arm. I would love to see that rumor.
One rumor I would like to see is Bill Belichick stepping down as coach, but not as GM of the Patriots.
So he sticks on as a GM, but he's no longer the coach. I'm guessing
he still has control of the team.
Yeah. I'm guessing he makes McDaniels the coach. Maybe Bill O'Brien. Maybe he loves him. He's hanging out somewhere. Or is Bill O'Brien signed with like Alabama? I feel like they signed a bunch of head coaches.
I think Bill O'Brien signed with Alabama. Let me double check.
Yeah, I think he did.
Belly up, Kev, corner booth. If you're watching out there, can you tell us if Bill O'Brien signed with Alabama?
I'm pretty sure he did. I think he signed Doug Marrone as well. So I feel like I know that fact because I made a point in my brain to be like, yep, Nick Saban signed a bunch of ex-NFL coaches, and I think it was O'Brien and Marrone. Okay. I could be wrong on Marrone.
Yep. No, you are absolutely correct. He is now the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Alabama.
Tide. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was between him and Adam Gase at one point. Because Adam Gase worked for Lou Saban, not Lou Saban. God, Nick Saban.
Lou
Saban.
I want to know who Lou Saban is, because Lou Saban sounds like a great guy. Nick Saban, I don't want to hang out with him, but Lou Saban, yeah, I'll get beers with him.
Lou Saban is actually, I think he's his dad.
Well, we should get him on. You should get him on the
pod. Well, he's been dead since 2019, so.
I'm trying to get him.
Well, he was a coach of the Buffalo Bills between the year that O.J. Simpson rushed for 2,000 yards. He was their head coach.
Oh man! So what are you trying to say, that like he had a hand in this?
Possibly.
Oh wow! Lou Saban is an accessory after the fact. Unbelievable!
Right,
what a great podcast this is.
I know, right? So, okay, so they're distant cousins. They were distant cousins, so they're not actually kind of related. So,
well,
but yeah, but no, Adam Gase worked under Nick Saban at LSU, so he's got a national championship ring.
Yes,
but I guess he was rumored to be the coach, the next offensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide. And I remember seeing a rumor about that, and I just said, all right, so here's what's going to happen, Alabama fans. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see screen pass on first down, screen pass on second down, third and long, run up the middle. That's what you're going to see with an Adam Gase offense.
They'd probably still win the national championship.
I'm pretty sure that would happen, but it would just be the most predictable offense in the SEC. But they would still win because Nick Saban's defenses are always really good.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware of what he throws out there.
All right. So actually one fun NFL mirror I would want to see is Nick Saban becoming as a head coaching candidate of one of the terrible teams next year, whatever that might be.
So terrible teams next year. That's a good question.
Yeah.
What are going to be the shit ass teams for next year? Boy. Falcons?
Oh, definitely.
I'm not sure why they were the first team to hit my brain. So you got the Falcons, you got the Vikings.
No.
Trying to think of AFC teams now. You got, I don't want to say, no, not the Raiders. They'll be average. I'm talking like terrible crap ass teams. They're like 5 wins less.
I think the Vikings will still be a solid contender for the Central next year. It's just going to depend on how Kirk Cousins plays.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Nick Saban, he's always, not always, but he's always kind of thrown around of coming back to the NFL. Will he? FYI, he's never going to come back to the NFL.
I would think someday. I mean, I'm pretty sure he learned his lesson as the Dolphins head coach before he got succeeded by Adam Gase.
What?
Wait. Was it Nick Saban? Didn't Adam Gase replace Nick Saban, or was that? No, that was Cam Cameron, was it?
Yeah, it was Cam Cameron, like 10 years.
Okay.
Later.
Never mind.
Nick Saban was actually decent as a Dolphins head coach. Like, he wasn't like garbage, bottom of the barrel. It was average.
Yeah.
He put up an average year as the head coach of the Dolphins, and then, he said he wasn't going to Alabama, and poof, he was in Alabama, and that was that.
We're going to Alabama.
Yeah.
And then what? 4 national championships later?
4, 19 championships. Who knows? Yeah, who's counting at this point, right?
Probably going to have another championship next year, but.
Yeah, probably. He has #1 recruiting class again, so yeah, I imagine so.
All right, so we're going to wrap things up here. Before I wrap things up, what I'm going to do is give a shout out to one of our partnerships at Belly Up Sports, and that's Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good quality coffee with no BS and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra premium, veteran-owned coffee company, proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim only to serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price to provide you the value you deserve from your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, receive 15% off your order. I'm actually trying the Blackwater Contracting blend tomorrow. It smells delicious. I'm looking forward to trying it. All right, Sern. So Could you give the last word here? Where can people find you? Where can people find your written stuff? Give us your things.
Yeah, besides Belly Up Sports, where I write here, I also write for the Finsider, which is the Miami Dolphins blog for SB Nation. As my name is Sern342 on there. I post on there 1 to 2 to 3 times a week. And yeah, that's pretty much where you'll pretty much find me. My Twitter handle is naturally Second Sat Sports. It comes right off the tongue. And yeah, that's where you'll find me. And you'll also find me in DuPont, Pennsylvania. That's where I live.
All right. Well, Sern, I want to thank you again for being a guest on my show. You're welcome back. You have carte blanche. You're welcome back anytime. You're actually you, Jared, and my buddy Gaz from a local radio station up here. You're all three of you are tied for most appearances on this show.
So I'm a legacy.
You're a legacy player, my friend.
Holy hell, that is a great feeling.
Hey. We'll have to retire your name to the Raptors.
Yeah,
someday.
It seems like you're gonna put a banner up.
I'll make sure I arrange that. All right, folks. That's gonna do it for myself. For Sern, myself, I'm Ryan McCarthy. I appreciate you watching this edition of Around for the Weekend. Again, we are powered by Belly Up Sports. Find all our written stuff, our podcast, live shows. Go to bellyupsports.com. That's where you can find it. All right, folks. I'm going to refill my glass because it's empty, sadly. Sir, and you still got some stuff. You probably got like a good can left over of that.
About half or so,
Yeah. So you got basically one can left, but you can go ahead and enjoy it. There you go. All right, folks. Well, thanks again for sticking around and for this edition of the sports, the happy hour of the sports internet world. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.